Before Kings of Joy was a global movement, it was a series of conversations. This is one of them. Season 1 captured something raw, the early language, the questions we were asking, and the people who shaped what this community would become. I'm Danica Liney, the King Coach. Kings of Joy is a global drag king community helping LGBTQIA+ people break free from constraints around gender, sexuality, and self-expression so that we can be 100% at home in our own skin. This is where it started.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Danica Lani. I am known as the King Coach, mother of drag kings, Daddy Joy, among other things, and welcome to my podcast. Today, I am super excited to introduce to you Toby, aka Martin Van Tasmal.
Hey, thank you. Always stunning to be here.
And I am.
Thank you. Pink isn't so much Martin's color, but it's definitely my own. So I like to wear any shade of like rose or bubblegum wherever I can. It's a nice energy. I like a bit of pink.
Love that. Awesome. So, Toby, will you talk us through and share with us what has been your experience briefly of the Kings of Joy experience?
Yeah, so I only moved to Sydney about, it was February last year. And in that time, I really only moved knowing 2-3 people. Most of them were exes that had completely broken my heart, but ongoing friends. And I was like, okay, I really need to start making more friends outside of this. But then obviously 2021, we went into a lockdown. And as we were in lockdown, I was dating somebody at the time. And so the only friends that I could make were his friends, essentially. And none of them really identified as queer. None of them really worked in any creative fields. And they're truly lovely people and I had a really great time, but it didn't feel like I had found my community yet. And to make matters worse, when we eventually broke up and lockdown opened up again, obviously, as life happens, like you just hang out with those people less and you lose contact. And I was like, cool, I'm back to ground zero. Here we go. And then I literally got a spare ticket through a friend of a friend to go see Quiz of Joy. And immediately I was like, oh my God, this is my first time actually going to a gay event in Sydney. It was in the lead up to, oh my gosh, I think it was like, when was Kings of Joy Volume 7? We were November 2021, something like that. I can't even remember. It was wow. Anywho, yeah, but it was so nice just meeting other people who identified as gender fluid or were exploring their masculinity, because I had really only just started that journey myself and was trying to find other gender fluid trans masc people to look up to and ask about like testosterone treatment and things like that, or just other people who essentially spoke the same language and understood the same context of where you're coming from. And it was so good. That was my first big event, and everyone was so wholesome and deeply, deeply talented people, and ultimately like such a loving environment as well. And straight away, the highlight of the night was the Kings of Joy performance of seeing all of these women and they, them, like gender non-conforming people just performing in these amazing mask outfits, and just how each one of them were like, no, we had no experience prior to this. We've got barely any rhythm, but we have a lot of enthusiasm. We just want to dress up like boys and have a good time. And I was absolutely blown away. So then I signed up immediately. I like ran to the table, had to put my name down and sign up. And yeah, I was in the next volume, gender fluid, wizard, princely type. And it was extremely lovely of being able to like go up fully bound back, which is a real challenge if you're a double D like me, and just absolutely flaunt like this masculine, like Brenda Fraser from the 90s, Hal Pendragon energy. It was so lovely. Yeah, and ever since then, I've been quietly working on upcoming routines between my day job and obviously getting into some creative things that we'll talk about. But it's been really lovely being part of this community, and I am very excited now that I'm in Kings of Joy All Stars as well. So that's going to be something great. Anyways, that's that.
Fabulous, fabulous. That is that. And, you know, I really love seeing you come alive on stage and shine within your drag Kings of Joy crew that, you know, came together and doing your routines. Was great to see you just blossom in that way, and then continue on to the Kings of Joy All Stars, where, you know, you'll be performing soon at Drag Kingdom. And I hear there's a little bit of a wizard something going on there. So
There's something happening, which, oh God, need to even get into that of just like, I think it was something so sweet, like coming in, and the main tropes and energy that I would see on stage were a lot of like 80s rock gods and like very cool rockabilly surfer guy sex appeal. And then I came in with my fucking ears and a cape, and I was like, I want to be a wizard. I hope this isn't too niche. And just being surrounded by immediate support and enthusiasm. And even like the worst criticism I would get would be like, oh, I don't get it, but this is great. Like, love the energy. And I'm just like, that's good enough for me. So now being in All Stars, where there are two kings, both of them wizards, having some very sexy little flaunts and fights, I'm deeply, deeply excited. So
yeah.
Cannot wait.
Yay, Martin Van Tasmal versus Dumbledore. Can't wait. Together.
Amazing.
Forever.
Amazing.
Or,
Too powerful.
and then along the way, we connected more around your artistry and your creativity and your what you do for a living as an illustrator and an amazing what role would you say, how would you describe what it is that you do, Toby?
Yeah, so by day, my 9 to 5 job is a storyboard artist at a lovely local Sydney studio. So I basically work like in behind the scenes of a lot of TV animation, but I've always had a soft spot for fashion and merchandising, and it was something that I got to do a bit for my own personal branding. But obviously we've had a pandemic and it's been hard getting to markets and selling my own wares, so I'm a little out of practice. But when Danica expressed interest in like starting up Drag Kingdom and getting Kings of Joy into a like self-funding kind of non-for-profit status, or just like how can we make the longevity out of this, the idea of merchandise was just so exciting to me, and I really wanted to give back to a community that had already given me so much just coming here to Sydney. So yeah, it was a really great excuse getting into t-shirt design and the stickers coming out and just getting to interpret the big unidentifiable feelings of like joy and gender affirmation, as well as exploration and transformation, and somehow put all of those absurd, I guess, elements into physical merchandise has been a very cool experience.
Yeah. And can you talk us through some of the process, like the creative process that you and I went through to get to the final product stage?
Yeah. Oh my God. Sure. So I always end up starting off with a Pinterest board of just looking at, cool, what is currently out here? Let's have a look around. Because you're always inspired by the community around you and other artists, and as well as the fact that it's the internet and you have so much more access to a lot of queer artwork and cultures and pieces. And so you can just mesh it all together in one collaborative space and then look at it all side by side and be like, okay, well, what is working? What isn't working? What does feel like Kings of Joy? What isn't Kings of Joy? How can we mesh this? There was also, we discussed a lot about the core principles of Kings of Joy, which I really appreciated. Of like, sometimes when you're doing client work, and especially when they're a small up and comer, they don't understand what the niche or like what the deeper impact of their brand or their product is. But I think Kings of Joy has always been based on, like I said earlier, these very absurd, I guess not absurd, but intangible elements of gender expression, queer identity, joy, inclusivity, and just dance. And trying to combine all that and like really discussing about like, well, why do these things matter to us? How can we explore that, and how or what would that look like? I think was a really interesting discussion that I haven't really had with other client work before. And it was amazing. Or just in the end, like we have these big discussions. We look at all of our Pinterest pages and see what styles we like. And from there, you just sketch up a lot of thumbnails. There's a huge deciding process of like, okay, based on these themes, these are the images that I've interpreted. What do we think? What do we enjoy? What suits? And then from there, it was a lot of back and forth with Danica just to figure out like, cool, let's go this direction. And then from there, you sketch, you clean up a sketch, you change a sketch, you color a sketch, you try and try again, and then eventually you figure it out and it becomes a final image. So yeah, that's a very brief nutshell of the process, but it counts.
Well, I've really enjoyed working with you, and particularly around the creativity and artistry, because I love art. I just love artistry. And so being able to be part of that creative process at the beginning, seeing some of those images that you brought to me from Pinterest and starting to go, my brain starting to go, explode.
Yeah.
New possibilities. And we looked at some stuff that was like more like surrealism and that kind of thing. What else did we look at? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, we looked at a lot of like pop art, but also pop art surrealism, a lot of things of, especially the term kings has such a monarchical value that unfortunately a lot of it is often associated with like Church of England and a lot of white culture, whatever culture that we have. Anyway, that's a whole thing. But we wanted to also make sure that it was part of Kings of Joy, which is at the core of it an inclusive experience that we want everyone to have access to. So we started looking into like diverse depictions of religious artwork, how other people from other cultures have like interpreted the concept of kings or kings in their own right, and like societal structure, images that are associated with that. There was so much to it, honestly. A lot of like taking a spin on religious artwork as well, which is really quite exciting as somebody that grew up Catholic and then disappointed everyone by coming out as bisexual and gender fluid. It's really nice coming back to that iconography and being like, oh yeah, I can take that. I'm going to take this and make it gay. This is what we've done now. That's fine. So that's been a really fun process in its own right as well. It's just getting into such a weird splendor of queer and royal iconography.
What a blend. What a mix.
What a blend.
Awesome. And so I was thinking that today we might do a little reveal. What do you think?
I think we can do that. We can do that for sure. Let's get in there.
Shall we? Okay. If you're listening via audio, you should go to, where should you go to? www.danikalani.com/blog, and you will find this video up there of this episode, and you'll be able to see the visuals there. So let me share my amazing screen here. And we also did stickers. So just before we do the reveal, we did stickers, right? So based on a saying that one of our Kings of Joy made up, which is that kings who tape together stay together. Thank you, J-Star. So
J-Star.
If you remember J-Star from episode 1, they have done a fabulous thing. So here we go. Toby, can you see my screen?
I can. It looks so cute. I'm so happy how they turned out.
Oh my God. So we've got a binding tape for anyone who's ever tried drag, or even, for gender affirming reasons, has used binding tape to tape down those titties, shall we say. Yeah, you'll know all about it. So we had this beautiful tape, and then the words "Kings who tape together stay together," J-Star, and some scissors and a little crown that says Kings of Joy. So in our discussions about what was important to Kings of Joy, one of the other things that we really value is representation. So we decided to do a few different variations of color and skin colors and background colors. So we've got a couple of versions of those. And then we also have, I really wanted the t-shirt to be like a piece of art, a piece of artwork. So here we go, little drum roll to reveal the piece of art that is going on the back of the t-shirt. Woo, jumped. Here we go.
Oh my God. I'm so happy how it turned out, honestly. For people that need a audio description, the t-shirt design is basically a stone-like bust in a very like Romanesque statue style of a very gender non-conforming looking person with a golden crown melting on their head as their stone body breaks away to reveal this glowing, massive red heart in the center, and all kinds of vines and stars being torn away as it just bursts with all kinds of queer affirmation and love.
And the joy.
And the joy.
Yeah. So it's an anatomical heart as well, which I really loved, getting that anatomy in there.
Honestly, that was so fun to draw. I don't think I do many anatomical or like body horror kind of stuff in my time, but there's something so nice about drawing like the contrast of something so stylized, but also so fleshy. And it's very gorgeous. I was really happy with the shading on it. And so, I don't know, again, hitting on that like old school religious or like royal iconography and using it for our little gay community. So happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so great from my perspective to be able to also have, you can see there, Trash Girl Arts has a little stamp on there as well to, you know, we're a community that uplifts each other and empowers each other. So to be able to give you a platform as well, Toby, for Trash Girl Arts has been, exciting.
No, honestly, thank you so much. This was a great experience getting back into merchandise design, and it was honestly such a thrill getting to get involved in this whole creation process again. And honestly, it was a dream. This was so lovely. Thank you.
What a pleasure. And if you're interested in looking at any of our merch, you can go to www.danikalani.com. I'm going to say that again, www.danikalani.com/kings-of-joy-merch. So that's where you'll be able to find the images. And if you want to grab yourself a t-shirt, just know that 10% of all merchandise goes to our LGBTQIA friends who are refugees living in Kakuma in Block 13. So that's where 10% of the funds will go as well. So how do you feel about that, Toby? Making a difference as well as making art in the world.
I actually didn't know about that. That's extremely lovely. And it's such a great cause. And that community just means so much, working hand in hand with Quiz of Joy. Oh my God, that's very sweet. Thank you so much for including me in that.
Thank you. Thanks for your contribution. And is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Well, my drag account is uploading slowly because I'm working on photo shoots and edits bit by bit, but you can follow my lovely persona, Martin Van Tasmal, at martin.vantasmal on Instagram. Or if you want to see more artwork, you can come find me at Trash Girl Arts. All pronouns are good pronouns. You're welcome to leave a comment or a message anytime.
Amazing. Slide into those DMs. Yeah.
Thanks, gang.
It has been an absolute joy working with you, Toby, and your efficiency and professionalism, as well as your creativity and artistry, has been a joy to behold. So thank you for your contribution to our community. And I can't wait to continue sharing the love, spreading your art through the world. The world is a better place because you're in it and because of your art. So thank you for who you are.
You. Oh my God, you're too sweet. Thanks, Dad. Love it.
Hilarious. My pleasure. Thank you. And I will see you at Drag Kingdom on the 18th of August. So many drag kings, 40 plus drag kings, all in group performances. And again, 10% of all the ticket sales there and the merch sold in the night will go to Block 13, our friends in Kakuma, Kenya. So thank you. And thanks for listening. Mwah.
Thanks, guys.
This is where it started, but it's not where it ends. Kings of Joy is now a global drag king community with over 150 first-time drag kings crowned since 2020. We're still having these conversations. We're still asking the questions. We're still becoming. If this episode sparked something in you, start here. Claim your drag king name at danikalani.com/drag king name. The movement is growing. You're part of it. I'm Danica Lani, the King Coach. Thanks for listening.